Well, good Monday morning, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. I'll call it Victory Monday today. It is November 28th, 2022, 7:31 a.m., and we are going to recap the resurgent New York Jet offense, if you will. Listen, I'm not going to get too crazy about this. I'm going to take it one game at a time. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but Mike White last year showed some great games and then also had some down games. But for yesterday, a game that the team needed to get back into hunt with, get to their seventh win. They're now 7-4 after 11 games, um, and basically show what this offense could do um, when the plays are executed, is what they did. They played a Bears defense, which I believe was ranked the lowest rated with running defense and passing defense. Um, and they played a Bears team without Justin Fields. Trevor Simeon, who Jet fans know from the 2020 season, um, had a very short career with the Jets. He came in when Sam Darnold was sick, and he wound up having his ankle broken on Monday Night Football, and that ended his season. But anyway, full disclosure, I didn't go to the game yesterday. As you can see behind me, had some birthday signs up, had a party here Saturday night. Um, and between that and the weather and just the whole holiday weekend, as a family, we decided not to attend. Um, Look, it was a little disappointing not being there for this game, but at one point, looking out the windows here in the family room watching the game, the rain was coming down in sheets. So you know what? You could say you're not a real fan. After 30 plus years of going and freezing in the rain and sweating in the heat and dealing with everything that you deal with going to the game, and you do it because you're enjoying it. You have the right to take off the game. So anyway, let's get back to this game. So of course, Zach Wilson benched um, on Wednesday. The news came out that it'll be Mike White. Um, I thought it was a great time for them to do this. The only better time it might have been would be on the road, but I thought it was a perfect time. I really thought Zach was going to get this start. Like I said, playing a mediocre defense, no Justin Fields possibly. Um, a game to, a rebound game, a game to basically get his confidence up and maybe be able to redeem himself. But Coach Sala, I'm going to say with probably um, the collaborative effort of Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson, Lafleur, and the reason why I just say Lafleur because I don't know if he's Mike Lafleur or Matt Lafleur, so I just call him Lafleur, the offensive coordinator. All decided this would be the game to sit Zach. Um, I also, and I've said this in my video during the week, one of Coach didn't really go into how Zach reacted, only of his question of why, and he wants to still play. Um, I don't know what his demeanor was. I don't know what his other replies or reactions were, but I'm thinking that after assessing this, you know, taking in first of all the way they lost, and then taking in everything on Monday and Tuesday, um, Coach Sala seen enough of Wilson for the time being. He's saying that his time here is not done. I don't know, and I'm not going to say that Mike White is the QB for the next 5 years either. Mike White has five starts, I believe. He's 3-2. I think he has in those three wins, 300 game passing yards. Um, but game by game. And again, I said it sounds like cliche, but step by step, game by game, you have to take it. Each obstacle in front of you. All right, I know, cliche. I sound like a politician. But anyway, so yesterday, the energy, even with the rain, even with everything, even watching it from home, you could feel the energy. You could hear the energy when they showed. So the Jets, I believe, received the ball first. When they showed the offense coming out of Mike White walking on the field, you could hear the crowd, and then they rumble off a few big runs, and then Mike White just starts throwing passes, and I think he went 5 for 5 on that first drive, and Garrett Wilson for the touchdown on a wide open Garrett Wilson. I mean, Garrett Wilson actually was held in the end zone. He broke away, and when he broke away, the defender fell down, and he just went to the right far corner of the end zone, and Mike White went through his progressions, something we haven't seen in a long time, and hit him. The Jets did find themselves down 10-7 in this game. Defense, to me, listen, I'm not going to say it was a letdown, but the defense we saw the last 7 weeks, 8 weeks, just was a step behind yesterday. It could be the rain. It could be they were just beat up from last week. But, I mean, they were down 10-7. Again, Mike White comes through. Garrett Wilson, again, on a move where the safety actually fell before he got to him. I'm not sure if it was a major injury or not, but you could actually see a non-contact injury. He just went down. Wilson caught the ball, made a move inside, and that was all he needed. He scrambled in. Elijah Moore had 2 catches, 1 for a touchdown. Everything was clicking. Everything was clicking. Even Greg DeLeg hit from 57 yards out in that driving rain. So everything worked. The defense finally stepped up, and Mosley got an interception. They contained Trevor Siemian for the most part. Look, final score 31-17, right? 31-17, I believe. 31-10. The stats on Wilson: 22 of 28, 315. He averaged 11 yards a pass, 11 yards a completion, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a rating of 149.5. Ty Johnson had 5 rushes for 62 and a touchdown. Nobody broke the 100-yard mark, but they did exceed 100 yards on the ground. Last week, I think they didn't exceed 39 total. Garrett Wilson, 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Moore, 2 receptions, 1 touchdown. He spread it out, I believe, to 10 different receivers, or 10 different players actually caught passes. Wilson, Moore, Conklin, Knight, Uzomah, Ty Johnson, Michael Carter, Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, and Braxton Berrios. It was a good game called by Mike LaFleur. Now, it was funny because last week during the game, all I kept saying to my daughters and to my cousins in a group chat as well, we noticed the next week, like, where are the reverses? Where are the end arounds? And yesterday they did the end around with Berrios. So they did, some other plays that they didn't run last week and whatnot. And I put that in the text, and my cousin Mikey says, they didn't trust Zach. The pass is setting these plays up. And he was right. The defense was on their heels, and when he's making all these passes now, and the running game is working, now you're worried about, the play action pass works because they're playing the run. The long passes work. Everything you call now is keeping the defense on their heels because you're mixing it up, and it worked. Look, LaFleur, I think, called a better game. It fit to Mike White. 2 things that stood out during the game. First one was the energy on all sides of the ball. They finally looked like they were playing together again. Now, I know they didn't play Justin Fields, but the offense still put up 31 points. Somebody's like, oh, they didn't play Tua, and the offense put up 40. I get it. When you play in a backup quarterback, the field is different. The possessions are different and whatnot. Field position is different. But still, from an offense that put up 3 points last week and 2.77 inches a play to, what we saw yesterday. And I'm not saying that this was the greatest team on turf, but this was a competent offense yesterday. Something that will go a long way with this team this season as well, not just in the future. The other thing that I noticed was, and it was funny because I wanted to see more of this, and this was actually tweeted out by Brandon Tierney. There wasn't a lot of shots of Zach on the bench, maybe a handful. And the ones I did see, okay, after the touchdowns, now it could be that the network misses, that Fox misses. I didn't see him go over to Mike White, give him that pat on the helmet, give him that high five. Didn't see that. There were times where you saw the quarterbacks. So you had Mike White on the tablet. You had LaFleur between them, or the quarterbacks coach between them on the tablet. You had Flacco, who was dressed next to them on the tablet, and then you had Wilson, who of course wasn't active, wasn't dressed, sitting there in the pouring rain, just sitting there. And to me, that stood out, and it showed. Listen, I don't want to say this kid's character. I don't know this kid, but to me, it didn't show that team, that chemistry. It showed a pouting young man who still at that point didn't know why he lost his job. And it's his job now to win back, and it's Mike White's job to lose. I don't think this is a week by week with Mike White. I think Mike White gets, to me, in my opinion, gets at least the next two games. Okay, you go to Minnesota next week, and you go to Buffalo. Two very difficult games. Minnesota, I believe, is 9-1 or 8-2. I forgot what they are. And Buffalo, who we already beat, is I believe 8-3. So those are two tremendous games. Mike White has earned the right to play those two games. After those two games, maybe reevaluate. You see where the team is. Are you moving forward? Did you take 2 steps back? Are you where you want to be? But I actually think Mike White has earned these next 2 road games. And let's hope that December 18th game against the Lions at home, that he's still the QB, which means that he had success on the road. In the press conference afterwards, I didn't watch the post game much. Like I said, it was a long weekend. I was very, very tired. Saturday was a long night. Yesterday was it's been since last week, so I watched some highlights, but I did see headlines where Mike White said this was an overall full, complete team win. I like that. What Saleh said, and the commentators on Fox said the same thing. Mike White was making the easy passes look easy. And to me, it was when you called the screen pass, he hit the receiver or hit the running back. When they called a 5-yard out, he hit the guy. He didn't overthrow him. He didn't underthrow him. He didn't get happy feet and scramble and miss it. He made the passes that were called. I mean, he only missed 6 completions out of 28. And you want to say a lot of them are high percentage plays. That's what you want. And last week there were a lot of high percentage plays out there, and Zach just missed them. So is this a one and done? I hope not. This rejuvenated the offense. I think they really felt good going out there. I believe that it made them look like they were having fun again. And on those I think they had a 4-game win streak. They beat Miami, Green Bay, Denver, Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think that was 4 games. The defense were having fun. The offense was having fun. And there were some games where the offense struggled, but they still did what they had to do. This team looked like they were having fun yesterday. They could feel it. Again, there's a number 2 pick overall. You have a lot invested in him, but you know what? To me, when they made this switch, they were looking towards success. They didn't want to say, let's give Zach the rest of the season and let the chips fall where they may. They were not, you know, 3-6. They were 6-3. Or I should say 4-6. They were 6-4. They're still in the hunt. They're still in the thick of it. Everything is there. I mean, and I'm going to be honest. Miami is really surprising me. I didn't think Tua would step up like he did this year, but I think they are. They haven't lost with him starting. I'm watching Good Morning Football right now. The Dolphins beat Houston 30-15. They have the 49ers next week, so it gets a little tougher for them. But this AFC East, I mean, from week to week is just switching. Last week, the Jets were in last place. This week, I believe they are tied for second. And New England is in last place. I mean, so it just, it goes back and forth, back and forth. You could scoreboard watch. You could, look at it. Makes it interesting as a fan, but the Jets need to take care of business. I was very pleased with the outcome of yesterday's game. I really thought the defense was going to cause more turnovers. An interesting stat I read yesterday on Twitter, I don't know how confirmed it is, the Jet defense has forced 15 fumbles this year. They've only recovered 3. I mean, that is, first of all, to cause 15 fumbles in 10 games is great, but they only recovered 3. I mean, they pounce on the balls, boys. Come on. So that is it with the Jets. I'd like to go through some of the scores from yesterday. So keeping up with Jet quarterback Sam Darnold started yesterday in Carolina. He beats the Broncos 23-10. Also heard that there was yelling from defensive players towards Russell Wilson. And I believe that trade was a big trade to get Russell Wilson also over. So I see the coach going before Russell Wilson goes. The Browns in OT beat Tampa Bay and Tom Brady 23-17. The Jaguars beat the Ravens, and this is where, the Ravens are 7-4, they're top of their division. Jaguars are 4-7. The Jets face the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, the week of Christmas. I believe it's the 22nd. That is that could be a game that means a lot for the Jets. It's an AFC game. It's a home game. It's 4 days after they play the Lions on Sunday. That game scares me. Dolphins, as I said earlier, beat the Texans 30-15. Bengals keep rolling. They're 7-4. They beat the Titans, who are 7-4, 20-16. The Commanders beat the Falcons. Washington has a little something going on there. They are quietly at 7-5, 19-13 over the Falcons. The Charger game. So, I say you don't look at the scoreboard. You don't scoreboard watch, but as a fan, I do. You want all these other AFC teams to lose. Let the top 4 teams win their division. Everybody else you want to lose. And obviously, they're not going to lose every game because they're going to play each other. But yesterday, I put it on, and the Cardinals at home, and everything's going on with them. They're up by 2 touchdowns late in the game. I leave the room, I come back, they're up by a touchdown. The Chargers are thriving down the field. 1 timeout left. They get inside the red zone. They call their timeout. They score a touchdown. I mean, I thought his knee was down early, but replay was kind of inconclusive. You can go either way. They called a touchdown on the ground, on the field. They called a touchdown. I mean, I'm thinking you tie it. You're playing the Cardinals. You go to overtime. They go for 2, and they get to 2. It was just the Chargers come back and steal a game. So they go to 6-5. The Raiders beat the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle in overtime on a tremendous run. I think it was an 87-yard run. So, Seattle kind of comes back down to earth at 6-5. The Chiefs go to 9-2. I mean, the Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. All the playoffs are going to go through. I call it Arrowhead. I don't know what it's called now, the stadium. And then last night, the Eagles beat the Packers 40-33. The Packers are going back and forth. Aaron Rodgers looked a little better than he has, but still, Eagles, they are 10-1. And the NFC is going to go through Philly. So, KC and Philly, your 2 number 1 teams right now up there. If the season ended today, they both have byes in the first round. So that's it. Right now, I'm sure the team today is at the facility, probably getting there now. Coach will probably do their walkthroughs, their recovery, their treatments. I don't think they do any type of physical activity on the field. I think today they lift, probably classrooms and whatnot, film, and then Salah will have his press conference. Um, Usually, I always thought it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. Last week, the Tuesday one was at I'm sorry, the Monday one was at 5 or 6 in the evening, and that's when they came out with the change at QB. They didn't announce the change. They just said that Zach would be seated, and then Wednesday it was early, but it could have been early also because of the holiday. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for this week and see what they say. Uh, in regards to what's going on. Of course, Mike White. I know they said it's day to day, but it's going to be. I think he gets to start this week. He's earned it. The Jets are 7-4. Jet fans enjoy it. Um, we have two very tough games coming up, and I hate to excuse me, look at the future. But I'm just going to ramble off who they're playing. So they're 7-4. They have 6 games left. They have 3 on the road. I'm sorry, um, 2 at home and 4 on the road. The next 2 on the road at Minnesota, tough team. At Buffalo, tough team. They come back for the Lions. Lions are turning the corner here. I'm not saying that Lions are going to be world beaters, but the Lions are now not a beatable, or I should say, not a walkover team. And the Jets should look at any team as a walkover. Um, then they're at home on Thursday night to Jacksonville Jaguars. Then they go on the road to Seattle. Tough place to play, but Raiders showed they can play yesterday. People can play with them on the road, as you know, the 12th man there. And then they finish off in Miami. I'm going to call it right now. That Miami game is going to be flexed. That's going to be a Sunday night game. Uh, that I believe is January 8th. Um, and I think they're going to flex that game. Right now, I believe it's a 1 o'clock game. With the last, right now, I think the rules for flexing a game is 12 days out. I want to say for the last week, or maybe even the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure. The window to um, to flex a game is smaller. Um, they give a bigger window, so you have 12 days to flex, games now. I think inside those 2 weeks, or within that last week, you have it up until 5 or 6 days prior. So I would not be surprised, depending on where Miami is, depending on where the Jets are, depending on where the other rest of the AFC is, that one of these games gets flexed. I truly believe that's what's going to happen. I want to look at week 17 right now. So actually, it's week 18. I just said that. So right now, Jets are at Dolphins. That can be flexed. Patriots Bills. That can be flexed. Bengals Ravens. That can be flexed. Uh, Titans Jaguars. I don't think so. Giants Eagles. That can be flexed. Commanders Cowboys. That can be flexed. Broncos Chargers. I don't think so. Chiefs and Raiders. I don't think so. Rams Seahawks. I don't think so. And basically, you have 6 games that can be flexed. Now, there's also a rule you can't be in prime time more than 4 times in a year, I believe it used to be. I don't know if that's changed. But on week 17, you have a handful of games that can be flexed. I would not be shocked if Jets Dolphins are flexed, depending on where they both are. So that is it. Tonight, week 12 comes to an end on Monday Night Football. It's in Pittsburgh, I believe. Right? I believe it's Steelers. Yeah, Steelers and the Colts tonight in Indy. The Colts are 4-6-1. The Steelers are 3-7. Jeff Saturday, of course, is the coach of the Colts, and and then week 12 comes to an end, and before you know it, you're preparing for week 13. So hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, a happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving, a blessed Thanksgiving, whatever you want to say it. Um, Hope everybody enjoyed the game yesterday. Get back into the groove. You go back to work today. You go back to school today. The holiday season has upon us, and here is the stretch. Okay, here is the stretch. December football, and it means something for both New York teams, which I think is great. Am I a Giant fan? I am not a Giant fan. But to have relevant football this late in the season for both of these teams has not happened in a long, long time. And this is a lot of fun. And as a Jet fan, it's a lot of fun because I know I had us at 8 and 9 with my predictions, um, and I'm hoping to exceed those numbers. But I don't think, and I didn't have us at this record at this point, but none of the experts had us at 7-4. Um, going into a game against Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota had us, being a team that they have to kind of worry about. But that's where we are. That's where they play the game. Another cliche. So anyway, enjoy yourselves. This is the takeoff. Please subscribe. Please like this video. Please pass this along to your friends. We'd love to get more followers and subscribers, um, and comments, and send us pictures. We were at that rainy game yesterday. Did you tailgate? I mean, I saw a lot of things going on yesterday. Um, out in the parking lot, I saw video and people went out in full force. Enjoy the win, Jet fans. Have a great week back to work. And let's go, Jets.